Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today's video is all about certain training exercises and whether they're helpful or unhelpful. Now, one of the classic things I see people doing is, and it's a cool fitness exercise, is a box jump. Now, in case you're unsure what a box jump is, you basically stand beside a box, you jump up on it, and then you step down. When it comes to squash, this actually is not one of the best exercises you can use, or in fact, it is a good exercise if you know how to plan it into a training program effectively. Now, why do I say that? When you think about a box jump, what are you actually training here? There is a largely vertical component to this, and then there is a concentric component to this, meaning you are developing force from a standstill position. In squash, you need concentric force. You're coming off the tee, you want to explode off the tee to get onto your shot, you need concentric force. What this is missing, and what is a major aspect of squash, and which is honestly what most people struggle with, is the eccentric or decelerative component. So now if you think about it, if I'm moving into this front corner, I need to be quick off the tee, but then I need to be able to just stop and catch my weight in a lunge in order to be stable and hit my shot effectively, and then recoil out of that lunge. Now the recoil requires concentric force, but the deceleration requires eccentric force, which is decelerative force. So this exercise, where you're just jumping onto the box, is really good for your first step off the tee. But again, the other factor you have to consider is that this is a vertical force vector. So you're going up over here. Now, when you're moving off the tee, it's a forward movement, not a vertical movement. This is training more vertical, which is okay if you're not training a specific aspect of your movement. You're just training the skill of being explosive. Because once you train the skill of being explosive, you can translate it into the appropriate vectors and directions that you need on a squash court. So again, squash is lateral, it's forward, it's backwards, it's not vertical. But with the box, what you can do is you can train deceleration and acceleration, but in a different way. So the thing you want to do with the box, and you have to make sure you're properly warm before you do this stuff, is that you can actually step onto a box, and then you can step off and absorb. So if I do that, that is training my ability to decelerate when it comes to gathering and catching my momentum in a lunge. That's going to be level one. Now, you don't want to start with a high box. This is not a very high box, but you want to start with lower stuff, or you can even just start on the ground. So you could literally do this, hop and catch, hop and catch. If you want to make it very squash specific, then you can hop and catch, hop and catch. Now you're really training that eccentric phase of your movement or the deceleration when it comes to squash. You can get creative with boxes where you can train concentric and eccentric and change of direction. That stuff gets fairly complicated, so I'm not going to get into crazy details with it, but you can imagine something like this. Imagine I want to train concentric, so I'm going to go up, and then I want to train eccentric, so I want to go down, and then you hold. So that would be step one. Step two would be you could train concentric, and then you could train absorb and redirect. So I might come down and then take off. And I went forward a little bit that time. So now you're piecing together concentric, eccentric, because it's all about force generation, absorb, redirect, right? Force generation coming off the tee, absorb, redirect. This is training it more in a vertical plane, but it's training you to absorb and manage forces, which is the key when it comes to strengthening your muscles, strengthening your tendons, managing injury, and obviously improving explosiveness and performance as well. Take these concepts, please apply them to your own training. This is not a bad tool in of itself. It is, however, not the best tool if all you're doing is jumping onto it, because you're missing the aspect of training which most people find slightly more challenging. Most people find it easy to accelerate off the tee. Most people find it difficult to decelerate and be stable and not run through shots. Think about what you need to work on and then leverage the tool appropriately. Now, if you enjoyed this, folks, and this was valuable, I have a massive section on fitness exercises, programs, and theory to make squash very relevant for you and make your training extremely specific to improvement in our sport. If you want to check that out, send me an email. You know where to reach me, and I'll get back to you. Take care. Bye.